All right, Rag Boy here.
RJ,
and we just had a great day wake surfing yesterday. We couldn't do this on the boat. It's just too many boards to try to lay out on the back. And we're taking this opportunity. RJ rode back to back these 4 boards. So we're going to go through some information about these boards to help you, look at what kind of board you want to buy. Maybe it's one of these, maybe it's another. We're going to go through a bunch of information and maybe help you make a better decision. First, we talk about production versus custom. These 2 are custom, these 2 production. Okay, let's go on. No, I'm just kidding. Custom boards are basically shaped, sometimes in a guy's garage, sometimes in a facility, but it's a hand shaper taking a piece of usually EPS foam. He shapes the foam and then he uses epoxy resin and fiberglass. Sometimes that board has a wood stringer, carbon stringer combinations. We're not going to get too much into that, but basically these custom boards are primarily EPS foam, epoxy resin and fiberglass, and that's how you get these boards.
And you can order them to spec.
Yes, and you can order them to spec. I want my board glass a little lighter because I'm only going to use it for a couple of contests. I don't care if it's going to break. I want
more concave in my board.
More concave, more rocker.
Length.
Yeah, you could do all kinds of different colors, add your logos to the board, lots of stuff. Now, big drawback with custom, they take a long time. I mean, you can get a boat sometimes faster than you can get a custom board. You can order a boat and get it in 4 weeks and order a custom boat and get it in 2 months. Every board manufacturer is different. Soulcraft has been doing pretty good. Shredstixx and Walker Project have been, seem to be back ordered a lot. Hopefully they're going to get that resolved. That's the issue with custom. Now production, obviously the opposite side of that, is a lot of times you can just find them in your local dealer. You pick one up, you drop your coin, you're out, you're surfing. That's a pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good deal. But RJ, in production boards, where's the negative?
Well, you can't customize like you can on the custom boards.
Yeah.
So you have to use their traction and their fin setup, and only the fins they allow you to use to change them through.
Yes, like for instance, you can see this traction here. It's not custom traction. This is pretty good for a production traction. You can see these use inland surfer fins. Now, some production boards also may use future fins, so you can customize.
Yeah.
But inland, as an example, you only get the choices they give you. Where on a custom board or a board that offers future fins, man, it's almost limitless what you can do, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so we've talked about production, custom, some of the materials we use, but that also ties into durability. If we're looking at custom boards, the custom boards, their durability usually has a lot to do with the weight. The lighter the board, the less durable, because they're usually sacrificing on how much fiberglass they put in or other materials to strengthen the board. So the lighter the board, it's going to be faster, funner, get up in the air, usually, not every time, but it's going to be less durable. For instance, this Soulcraft, we've already, just yesterday, it's creased. It's basically done. Maybe it can be repaired and used for a demo, but this board is done. 2 months of extremely hard riding. RJ's very hard in his boards. When he lands, many times, instead of landing down the ramp, he lands right on the wake, and it's the equivalent almost of just putting your knee in the center of the board. And so RJ has a tendency to be really tough on his boards. Now go to the production. The Inland Surfer uses woodlock technology. You can go on their site and read about it. But we've had several inland boards. RJ, how durable have they been?
Very incredible, yeah.
Very durable. Like, they'll still get heel dents, but after a really long time, you've never broken one. Yeah. Now the Flyboy is different, right? The Flyboy has a composite sandwich. It's a new technology. The cool thing about it is it's able to give you a lighter board and more durable, which is usually you had to sacrifice one for the other. So this board, now we haven't ridden this board, but you had the original Flyboy for over a year and rode it hard and put it away wet. And that board never showed a single heel dent after a whole year,
yeah,
which was amazing. Every other board RJ rides heel dents right away, which you can see on the Soulcraft there on the front heel. There's a pretty good sized dent there. The Flyboy didn't show. However, after about a year, it did put a nice hole right here where your heel go, which kind of makes it seem our interpretation, and you know, mileage may vary, but it's, yeah, surfage may vary. It seemed like to us the board isn't bulletproof. However, it held up extremely well and then kind of broke more catastrophically towards the end, but it was repairable. So my bang for my buck, the guy shelling out the dough for the boards, that's what I would prefer. The board is going to stay fresh, stay alive, stay as perfect as possible for as long as possible. You know, that's great, and I'd love to see that composite sandwich technology started to, you know, go out to the other boards. Okay, RJ, let's talk about fin configurations and drive, and this one is really your your expertise. And why don't you explain to us these twin fin configurations versus the quad, and why these boards are, you know, how they work and how they're so different.
Well, most of the time when you have twin fins or twinser fins like these boards are usually designed to get their speed down the line. So if we just got on this board and just put our front foot down, it would just accelerate very fast and get a lot of speed. Usually quad fins, like the Shredstixx right here, and then or thrusters where you have two fins then a back fin right there, they're designed for pumping and getting drive. Now the reason why, see, we can do a thruster configuration in the Soulcraft, and the reason why it doesn't work on the Soulcraft for getting speed is because when you have a thruster or when you have a quad fin, you pump incredibly hard to get the drive from the fins, and that's what gives you your speed. But if you can't pump incredibly hard, then you're just creating drag.
Why can't you pump incredibly hard?
Well, the reason why you can't pump incredibly hard on these boards is because you push your front foot down as hard as you can to get the speed like you would in the Shredstixx, and you purl.
Yeah.
And so that way, you know, you're just purling your board and you're just creating more drag with that center fin or the quad fins on these boards, and it just doesn't work.
So RJ, why do we have the back fin in this board?
We have it for beginners. See, I can ride the twinser setup fairly well on this board, and it does everything it should do great. It's a great board, does a great job. But the problem is when you have a board like the Flyboy or this, where, not this, but just the Flyboy, you can't have that trailer fin. You give this to a beginner and they start slipping out. If they don't know how to control the board, then it's very hard as a beginner to learn how to do it. And same thing with this board, but we can pop in a thruster, you know, a center fin in right here, which locks the board up and allows a beginner to have control over the board and learn how to speed up, slow down, and all the things a beginner needs to do.
Yeah, so that's why we will sometimes have a third fin in our boards. We order them that way. It's for beginners. All right, so lastly, we're just going to talk about, RJ, you rode all 4 boards. Me watching you, you look like you had the most fun. You know, honestly, the Flyboy just isn't working for you. It's just too short. You can see in the pictures, in the video, his foot's almost coming off the front. He rides very front foot heavy. So, you know, give you a couple, if they made a 4.8 or 4.10 or 4.9 or whatever in the Flyboy, I would say that would probably be one of your favorite boards. But tell us about the other boards.
All right, well, starting with the Shredstixx, I just love the way the board feels. I love how much more it's more similar to surfing on this board, the way you pump.
I mean, surfing in the ocean.
Surfing in the ocean. The pumping is just so much more fun, and just the way this board rides and how you have to ride it, it's more fun to me when you can pump harder, when you go and do big bottom turns and don't bury the nose. It's just, you can be front foot heavy and not worry about sinking the board. It's just a lot of fun. Now the Soulcraft, because you can't pump nearly as hard as you can on this one, but because this board's longer and it's got a little bit more rocker, I'm able to pump a little bit better on this board than, let's say, the Flyboy, and that kind of gives me almost like a best of both worlds of going from the down the line speed of a Flyboy to the hardcore pumping of the Shredstixx, and that's also a lot of fun too.
So RJ, now going over to the Sweet Spot Pro, I noticed, one, you know, you loved it compared to the first Sweet Spot. You purled too much. You were getting air bigger than I've ever seen you on the first time you've ridden a board. You had tons of control. You were just throwing 360s, throwing your stall 360s. Normally it takes a while to pick that up on a newer board. He just was nailing them. I could see the board. He was really enjoying it. But at the same time, you kind of said it felt weird. And you explained to me about the traction. So why don't you tell us about how the traction and the fins work together?
Well, at first, when I got on this board, and I'm like, Dad, the board just feels weird. It's just like it feels fat and just weird the way it was. I'm like, I couldn't quite put into words what I was feeling on this board. And then I realized that if you look, you can see where my foot would be on the traction right about here and where the actual fins are. And if you look, they're really close together, so your foot's like on the base of the fins. And what that does is it doesn't allow you to move the board as much, and it makes the board feel fat. So what I noticed when I put my foot all the way back on top of the kick bar right here, it felt much better because my foot was farther back to where the the pivot point of the fins are.
So if you see on RJ's like Soulcraft, his traction is all the way back. So his back foot is significantly farther back than the fins, which gives you more leverage.
Definitely, it gives you more leverage. And it feels just, I mean, for me, because that's what I'm used to, it makes the board feel better for me and allows me to maneuver the way I want to maneuver. This board, it's incredibly fast on the line, but it's also, it doesn't purl like you think it would. Just like on the Soulcraft, I can not only kind of put my front foot down and get the speed, but I also can kind of pump a little bit like the Shredstixx. I mean, not anywhere to the same ferociousness, but I can at least pump as I would in the Soulcraft on this board, and it just shoots down the thing.
So we're running out of time. Let's talk about costs real quick.
All right.
About $650 on the street for the Sweet Spot Pro, about $800 on the street for the Flyboy, about $650 for the Soulcraft Custom, and about $650 for the Shredstixx Custom. All great boards. Look at them all, and don't. A lot of people will, Flyboy, and then they're just going to pass this board up. I would have until we tried it. We were just surprised how fun this Sweet Spot was. This is a board, and hopefully the Flyboy soon, that you can just go and pick up and buy. If you can demo one, do it. And that brings up a point. All these boards were loaned to us by CMS. Big thank you to CMS for letting us borrow the boards. So, they have all these boards on sale. You can buy them there. Please go check out CMS, buy these boards if you need them, help support them. But we have an event on October 15th, the Polar Bear event. We're going to have these boards, and if you go to wake9.com/polarbear, we're going to have a list of all the boards we have. I mean, we got Phase 5, Soulcraft, Shredstixx, Inland Surfer, Calibrated, Grindwater, I believe Hyperlight, CWB. I mean, we have lots of boards. We're going to list them. And then we have the various boats, a Sanger 237, Centurion, hopefully a 211, if not an Enzo 244, our Taiga 24 VE, and a Taiga Z3. Where else are you going to get that? Only a few have signed up so far. A lot of people have said they were signing up and they're just waiting. So get your signups in, or otherwise we're gonna, we're just gonna have a little private demo and we're gonna do something different. So get your signups in. We got the Polar Bear event is gonna be a blast. You get to ride all these boards, because all of this information should have made one thing clear to you. A review like this isn't going to tell you which board you can ride. If somebody just tells you which board you should ride, it's probably not the best review. You got to ride these boards, and then you'll know for sure. So I hope we've given you some good information. Let's check out some of the surfing that RJ did behind these 4 boards. Maybe we'll throw in a little Jessie at the end. She had some surfing. It was a lot of fun. So I want to see you at the Polar Bear event. If not, surf safe. RJ, signing out.